Well, I think if we look at the people of Pakistan and Afghanistan, it is pretty significant because Mullah Omar was certainly at least a symbolic leader of the Taliban. He held the movement together. He was a continuation with the past when they were in power, in control of about 80% of the country. So his death really leaves the movement in disarray because there's various different factions within it. One, of course, wanting peace with the Afghan government, one wanting to keep on fighting, and then a lot of other members of the Taliban who are going to be fighting anyway. And they will now say, well, there's nobody in charge, so we're on free rein. We can do what we like. In Pakistan, you have the Haqqani network, which of course was part of the Afghan Taliban, was loyal to Mullah Omar. What will they do now, I think, is a question. And then the Pakistani Taliban, which had always disobeyed Mullah Omar, which I suppose will be even more empowered by the fact that he's not around anymore.
Now, this is doubly important because in the days to come, there's going to be another round of peace talks. What's going to happen to them without him?
Well, I think that's a very good question because, in fact, if the delegation continue and go to the peace talks, which are due to start on Friday, then how will they be able to say that they're speaking with authority? How will they be able to say that they can actually implement whatever is agreed? So I think that the credentials that they bring to the table are seriously undermined by this announcement by the Afghan government that Mullah Omar is dead. And that's why I think that the Afghan government probably was obliged to make this announcement because in a way they have to face up to that because otherwise it'll trickle out and then the peace talks will look ridiculous.
Now, I wonder if I could ask you to put on your hat as a man who did counterterrorism for a career. Mullah Omar was a simple village preacher who eluded being captured or killed for 15 years. How impressive is that apparently, if reports are to be believed, he died in bed?
Well, there you are. Yeah, I mean, this just shows you how difficult it is to get hold of people who are determined to stay out of sight. And Mullah Omar was very much determined to do that. He didn't, so far as I know, have any use of cell phone or other internet connection. He would send his messages by audio tape to the ruling body of the Taliban. And he met very, very few people. In fact, some commanders of the Taliban resigned from the movement because they complained they could never get hold of him, they could never see him, they could never hear him at close quarters, so they didn't really believe he was around. So that Mullah Omar, for so long as he was alive, was determined that he would protect his security above anything else.
And the astonishing thing is that if today's reports are to be believed, he died 2 years ago. And to the extent that they can be trusted with what they're willing to say in public, it doesn't sound like any Western nation knew it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure people suspected it. And there have been, I think, 6 reports of his death before now. We wait for confirmation that this one's true, though I rather think it has more credibility than others. But the fact of the matter is that I think that those people who knew about his death maybe have had an interest in not revealing it, because for so long as Mullah Omar is there, and for so long as messages can be put out in his name, most recently in mid-July, arguing that the Taliban could talk about peace as well as fighting, then I think he was useful as a symbolic figure, whether he existed or not.